A young woman with big dreams and a promising future decides to move to pursue her goals. But what seemed like a story of overcoming challenges and success turns into an unimaginable nightmare. Get ready to uncover the details of a case that shocked a country, involving betrayal, possessiveness, and a tragedy no one could have foreseen. Kimberly Karen Mota de Oliveira was born on February 26, 1998 in Manicoré, a Brazilian municipality with a population of over 57,000 inhabitants located in the state of Amazonas. She was the first daughter of Nela Pinheiro Mota, who later had another son named Erivan Mota de Oliveira. Kimberly spent most of her childhood and adolescence in a small town. She was described by those who knew her as a calm, studious, and friendly girl. As soon as she completed high school, Kimberly began a technical nursing course. At the same time, she was taking her first steps toward her modeling career. In 2019, Kimberly was selected to participate in the Miss Amazonas contest, where she would represent the municipality of Manicoré. She did not win the contest, but the fact that she was selected to participate made her very happy and her family proud. Kimberly's participation in the Miss Amazonas contest earned her some recognition. As a result, a few offers for small modeling jobs began to appear. They were nothing too significant, but it was already a start. After completing the technical nursing course, Kimberly decided that she wanted to study dentistry, which was another dream of hers. She then took an exam to obtain a scholarship at the Metropolitan College of Manaus and passed. Manicoré, the city where Kimberly lived with her family, is located more than 300 kilometers from Manaus, where the Metropolitan College of Manaus is situated. Thus, Kimberly would have to move to attend college. Upon moving to the city of Manaus, which is the capital of the state of Amazonas, Kimberly was welcomed by her maternal uncle and began living in his apartment. This uncle of Kimberly is named Henry Mota, and in every interview he gave, he always praised his niece, stating that she was a very hard-working young woman who pursued her dreams. While attending dental school, Kimberly continued doing small modeling jobs and also sold clothes to have an extra income. She would often save a portion of what she earned, as she aimed to open her own dental practice after graduating. Kimberly was also quite active on social media. We know that social media greatly helps in promoting work, especially those that involve a person's image. Kimberly shared her daily routine with her followers. Whether it was her routine at the gym or at home, she was always showcasing what her day-to-day life was like. After some time living in Manaus, Kimberly met a man named Rafael Fernandez Rodriguez. Rafael was 31 years old at the time of the events and had been living in Manaus for a few years. Rafael moved to Manaus with the intention of taking an exam for the public competition for judicial analyst, where he would work at the regional labor court. Shortly after arriving in Manaus, he met a young woman with whom he entered into a relationship. In less than a year, Rafael and this young woman got married. However, the marriage did not last long, and they separated. According to sources, this separation occurred due to Rafael's possessive personality, which viewed his wife as an object to control rather than as a partner. Furthermore, sources indicate that a few months after this separation, Rafael began following Kimberly on social media. It is said that he commented on and liked almost all of the posts that the young woman made. One day, specifically in March 2020, Kimberly posted on her social media that she had plans to go out with her friends and shared the meeting location. Rafael, who was following almost everything Kimberly posted, took the opportunity to try to meet the woman. Rafael then headed to the same location where Kimberly would meet her friends. While Kimberly was chatting with them, Rafael approached her and said that he would like to get to know her. Kimberly was not very receptive and said she was not interested. Despite this rejection, Rafael was unwilling to give up and in the following days sent several messages to the young woman through social media. Kimberly continued to assert that she was not interested and that at the moment she did not want to get involved with anyone as she was focused on her studies. Rafael said that was fine and that he just enjoyed talking to her because he found her to be a very interesting woman. As the days went by, Kimberly and Rafael continued to chat until at some point, Rafael convinced the young woman to share her phone number. Before long, the two started going out, and within a few weeks they began dating. Rafael did everything to project the image of a successful man. First, he rented a luxury apartment right in the center of Manaus, and then he bought an imported vehicle. He also started taking Kimberly to expensive places and would often gift her whenever he had the chance. The relationship between the couple seemed to flow very well until Raphael began to show his possessive side. It is said that Raphael tried to control Kimberly's life, which led to many fights between the couple. These fights would end in separation, but then the couple would get back together. During these separations, Raphael expressed deep regret to Kimberly and promised that he would change. He also sent flowers to the young woman in an attempt to please her. At this point, Kimberly spent more time in Raphael's apartment than in her uncle's apartment where she lived. Noticing this, Raphael suggested to Kimberly that they get married and live together to start a family. Raphael, who had previously been married to another woman, but whose marriage had not worked out, believed that things would be different with Kimberly and began to insist on this idea. However, Kimberly said she was not interested in getting married anytime soon. She first wanted to focus on her studies and then on her career. Raphael was not at all happy with this response, and the subject led to a heated argument. The couple went a few days without speaking, and during that time, Kimberly even told her mother that she was no longer happy with Raphael. On May 10, 2020, a Sunday, Kimberly, along with her uncle and some friends, went for a run in the municipal park of Mindu. Sometime later, Raphael joined them, and despite the tension between the couple, neither Kimberly's uncle nor her friends noticed anything unusual. The couple behaved normally, as if everything was fine. In the afternoon, Kimberly went to a friend's house and from there sent a message to her mother wishing her a happy Mother's Day. That night, Kimberly, who had arranged to go to Raphael's apartment, decided to call a taxi to take her there. However, she found the fare too expensive and then called Raphael to pick her up. Security camera footage captured the moment Kimberly got into Raphael's car, which was around 10 p.m. Following that, the two went to his apartment, and security cameras recorded the couple's arrival at the building. About an hour later, Kimberly sent a message to her uncle saying she was with Raphael. Kimberly had forgotten her uncle's apartment keys, so she asked him to leave the front door open, as Raphael would bring her back later. At some point, while in Raphael's apartment, Kimberly went to the bathroom and left her phone on a table near the bed. Raphael took advantage of the fact that his girlfriend was not nearby and decided to snoop on her phone. He managed to unlock the phone and, while Kimberly was in the bathroom, rummaged through her social media message inbox. Raphael saw numerous conversations of Kimberly with other men, something that made him furious. Consumed by rage, Raphael went to the kitchen and grabbed a knife. Then he returned to the bedroom and hid the knife under one of the pillows on the bed. When Kimberly came out of the bathroom unaware that Raphael had snooped, she lay down next to him. She also didn't notice how furious he was. According to sources, without saying a single word, Raphael pulled out the knife he had hidden under the pillow and struck Kimberly multiple times. The young woman had no chance to defend herself and succumbed within minutes. After taking his girlfriend's life, Raphael tried to clean up the room but eventually gave up, as there was blood everywhere. He then changed his clothes and took some things from his apartment. It was around 1:30 a.m. when the security cameras of the building captured the moment Raphael left the crime scene. The next morning, Kimberly's uncle found it strange that she hadn't returned home. A few minutes later, he received a message from a friend of Kimberly's saying that she was worried because she hadn't heard from her since the night before. Very concerned, Kimberly's uncle went to Raphael's apartment, but no one answered the door. The man noticed that Raphael's car was not in the garage. He then asked some neighbors if they had seen or knew where Kimberly and Raphael were, but no one knew anything. Upon leaving the building where Raphael's apartment was located, Kimberly's uncle went directly to the police. The young woman's uncle did not know that his niece's body was inside the apartment while he pressed the intercom for several minutes. When he arrived at the police station, Henry Mota explained the entire situation to the officers and said he wanted to file a missing persons report. In his mind, Henry believed that something had happened to Kimberly and Raphael. He had no idea that Raphael had taken his girlfriend's life and then fled. The police told him that at that moment they couldn't do anything since it had not yet been 24 hours since the couple had gone missing. Layla, Kimberly's mother, also tried to contact her daughter and Raphael. When she received no response, Layla became extremely worried, as this had never happened before. As hours passed and the family continued to have no news of Kimberly, the authorities decided to take action. They contacted Raphael's father, and upon explaining the situation, the man allowed the police to enter his son's apartment. The police gained access to Raphael's apartment in the early hours of May 12, 2020. Upon entering, the officers initially found nothing unusual, but when they reached the bedroom, they came across Kimberly's body on the bed with multiple stab wounds. The knife used in the crime was found on the balcony of the apartment and sent for forensic analysis. The police noted that there were no signs of a struggle at the crime scene, indicating that Kimberly had been taken by surprise, with no chance to defend herself. The news about what had happened to her daughter left Layla devastated. The crime shook the entire family and the whole city of Manaus. News of the case quickly spread throughout Brazil. The focus of the investigation was to locate Raphael as quickly as possible. Obviously, he was the main suspect in the crime. Moreover, after analyzing the murder weapon, Raphael's fingerprints were found on it, which eliminated any doubt among the authorities about his guilt or innocence. Soon after obtaining this evidence, an arrest warrant was issued for Raphael, who was officially declared a fugitive by the authorities. Photos of Raphael, along with a brief description of him, were released by both the police and the media. Authorities requested that anyone with information about the fugitive contact the police immediately. Raphael had fled to the state of Roraima. His intention was to cross the border between Brazil and Venezuela and then go to Spain, where he had relatives. However, while driving to the city of Boa Vista, the capital of the state of Roraima, Raphael had an accident with his car, which rolled over several times. Despite the serious accident, Raphael suffered minor injuries and managed to get out of the vehicle to continue his escape. But he lost his documents and cell phone, keeping only his bank cards. Raphael walked along the road on foot until he reached a nearby village where he asked for help. Later, he found a truck driver whom he asked to take him to a nearby town called Caracarai. The driver agreed, and in Caracarai, Raphael withdrew some money and then took a taxi that took him to the city of Boa Vista. In Boa Vista, Raphael withdrew more money and took another taxi that took him to the city of Pacaraima, a town on the border of Brazil and Venezuela. Meanwhile, authorities obtained information that Raphael was in the state of Roraima and later found his overturned car on a road. With this, the police asked for help from the population of the state to inform authorities if they saw Raphael. Brazilian authorities also informed the authorities of Venezuela and Guyana about a possible intention of the fugitive to cross the border into one of the two countries. Like Venezuela, Guyana also borders the state of Roraima in Brazil. When Raphael tried to cross the border from Brazil to Venezuela, Venezuelan military personnel did not allow him to enter the country. Raphael then asked for help from a family of Venezuelans living on the border and offered them money. The family hid Raphael in a shack located in a forest. It wasn't long before the police received an anonymous call that informed them of Raphael's exact whereabouts and who was helping him. The police quickly headed to the location indicated in the anonymous tip and found the shack where Raphael was hiding. Raphael did not resist arrest. He was taken by the police to the nearest police station and later transferred to the Specialized Homicide and Kidnapping Department of Manaus. While all this was happening, Nilton Rodriguez, Raphael's father, overwhelmed by the anguish caused by his son, decided to take his own life. Nilton threw himself onto the tracks of a train station in Sao Paulo on the day Raphael was arrested. At the Manaus police station, Raphael confessed and provided details about the crime. Subsequently, Raphael was sent to the Provisional Detention Center in the city. A few days after his arrest, Raphael's defense argued that he committed the crime due to an undiagnosed mental illness. As a result, authorities sent Raphael for a psychiatric examination, which confirmed that he did not have any mental health issues. In December 2020, the first hearing of the case took place at the Court of Justice of the state of Amazonas. During this session, several people were heard, both for the defense and the prosecution. Raphael remained silent throughout the proceedings and chose not to answer any of the questions. In the following year, 2021, the judge in charge of the case determined that Raphael should be tried by a jury. In October of the same year, the trial of Rafael Fernandez for the crime against Kimberly Mota began. The first prosecution witness to be heard was Layla, Kimberly's mother. Layla, who was facing a serious health issue, participated in the trial via video conference from a health unit at the Getulio Vargas Hospital. Other witnesses were also heard, both for the prosecution and the defense. Police reports and evidence presentations were crucial during the trial. Raphael did not answer any questions posed by the prosecution, but responded to all questions asked by his lawyer. During his trial, Raphael stated that the reason he committed the crime was that Kimberly lied to him about the messages he saw on her phone. At the end of the trial, Rafael Fernandez was found guilty of the crime against Kimberly Mota. He received a sentence of 14 years in prison. However, Raphael's defense filed an appeal, pointing out an error in the sentencing calculations that affected the final outcome. Thus, the defense requested a reduction in the 14-year sentence, which was granted by a court judge. Consequently, the sentence, which was initially 14 years in prison, was reduced to 13 years and 4 months, resulting in a reduction of 8 months. Currently, Rafael Fernandez is incarcerated in a prison in the state of Amazonas. The wake and burial of Kimberly Mota took place in May 2020 in Manicoré, her hometown. The farewell ceremony occurred at the municipal cemetery of Manicoré and was attended by hundreds of people. After Rafael's arrest and conviction, Layla, Kimberly's mother, expressed relief that justice had been served. Layla, who was hospitalized with advanced stage leukemia, passed away just a few hours after Rafael received his sentence. And that's the tragic story of Kimberly Mota, a young woman full of dreams whose life was cut short by an act of senseless violence. This case reminds us of the dangers of possessiveness and the importance of recognizing toxic relationships before it's too late. If you found this story impactful, please leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on more true crime stories. Let's keep Kimberly's memory alive and raise awareness to prevent tragedies like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.